Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divine Feminine Healers Podcast. It is your host, Angelica. And today on the episode, we're going to talk about the energy for the month of September. I channel intuitive messages and then I also look at the astrology. So these messages will come from both of those lenses. Now, overall, September is a month of a lot of inward growth, which as humans, this can be difficult, obviously, because we like external validation, but it's going to be really important work, of course, for setting up the foundation of the manifestations and the things that we do want to bring out into our external world. And a lot of this is because we start eclipse season in September. We have our lunar eclipse happening on September 7th in the sign of Pisces. And then on September 21st, I believe, we have our solar eclipse, which is in the sign of Virgo. That is our new moon solar eclipse on the 21st. And then we'll also have our fall equinox around that time as well. So there is definitely like that shift of energy during the equinox of going inward, especially with those of us who live in the northern hemisphere. And let's get into some of the messages around how we can really support ourselves throughout this month of going inward and how to get the most out of it. So the sun is currently in Virgo, and we also have a lot of placements this month highlighting the sign of Virgo. We have two new moons in Virgo. We just had one at the end of August, and then we'll have another one at the end of September, which is really rare to have. And it's really highlighting this extra Virgo energy. So Virgo is depicted as the goddess. She's the nurturer. She rules the home, taking care of the home, but also taking care of her body. She cleanses, she purifies. So that's why in our Western culture around this time, we do fall cleaning, we clean out the closets. It just feels really good to clear that space so that we can keep the home really simplified, tended to, and nurtured. Virgo also has to do with taking care of your body. So, a lot of the messages that I channel for this month are all around listening to your body and taking care of your body. So, the heart chakra really wants to expand this month. And that is because a lot of us are going to be stepping into new romantic relationships or deeper spiritual relationships in our communities in the months to come. And so the first phase of this is really getting to take care of our own physical body, being able to listen to it and nurture it in a really balanced way that is going to open up our hearts. So, for a lot of us, this may be related to different lifestyle practices, routines, and rituals that are shifting. This came about at the last full moon that we had in Virgo. And that was really highlighting what routines and rituals and practices that we've been holding on to for too long that are not allowing us to grow and to evolve, which ones we need to kind of lay to rest. And around this month, we're also going to get highlighted of what are those new practices and rituals that are going to bring balance into our body, that are going to revitalize us. And that will bring more clarity throughout the eclipse season. In eclipse season, so bookend from September 7th through September 21st, we're really connected to our intuition during this time period because it's a time of inward reflection. So a lot of messages can come through and ideas can land inside your body. And I have a feeling it's going to be around how to physically take care of yourself and how that's going to set up the foundation for you in the months and the years to come. Now, with this, of course, there's always going to come a sense of grief of letting go of the comfort of your routines and your rituals and the things that you've done probably for a long time that used to bring you growth, and realizing, okay, I'm stagnant in those, even though I'm so grateful for what those routines and rituals brought to me at that certain point in my life. I now need to come to terms with that time has ended and now something new wants to come in. So that's really pertaining to the physical body. And then, of course, this can also be related to the home, just clearing out closets. I know this message has come up in my one-on-one readings for my subscriber channel on Instagram. A lot of us are just like cleaning up our home and releasing old clothes. And, as we clean out our closets, we let go of old identities. Our clothes really are a unique expression of who we are. And so when we release certain clothes that we used to wear, it's like letting go of an identity of who we used to be in order to create space for this new identity that wants to emerge. Also relating to our physical body, There is a return to our sacral chakra, which represents our creativity, our divine feminine energy flow. Like a lot of energy really wants to start flowing into this part of our body. And of course, I work with a lot of people who identify with feminine energy. And right now, across the board, I'm seeing that there is a lack of flow of energy in the sacral chakra. It feels like it's kind of been stagnant and almost turned off just because we've been focusing on different energy centers. And a lot of women and those who just identify with more feminine energy have been more in their masculine of power, independence, doing things on their own, which is beautiful and so empowering. However, due to the new relationships that you're calling into your life, it is going to require you to balance out that energy with more feminine. And that's going to become coming back to return to your sacral. So, there's a lot here. Some of us are going to have to clear out old woundings in the sacral chakra of things that have been passed down from a familial lineage. Some examples that have come up in the one-on-one readings is feeling like our creative projects have to be our sole income and have to solely sustain us, and putting that pressure on that creative project that actually strips away the joy, the flow, the ideas that are meant to come through that creative outlet. And instead, it then kind of cuts off that flow of energy. So, this is you coming back to that creative energy with absolutely no attachment to any type of outcome at all. That the universe has now gifted you an opportunity to create the time and the space to nurture this creative project without any of intention of it having any type of result. And I'm going to highlight especially the result of a monetary income. It cannot have that. It just immediately kills off the flow. This isn't to say that your creative pursuits will not make you money and success in your future. It's just at this time, it is so important when you nurture it that there's so much joy, there's so much detachment and love for the creativity for that energy to flow really freely throughout your body. So, a really good practice to bring forward this month is to make something beautiful with your body. When you create art, it's with your body, whether it's with your hands, drawing, writing, poetry, or actually using your physical body, like in dance. It's so important for this as part of your healing process. So, if you're carrying a lot of emotional wounds, this is actually going to help you to release those emotional wounds because when you create your art, it is a reflection of your inner world and a physicality of bringing it out into your external world. And sharing that with others is allowing yourself to be witnessed in this part of yourself that you may have held hidden, that you may have not brought into your conscious mind. It allows you to process it on a deeper level. So, whether that's taking an art class or going to a dance class, but allowing those emotions to be reflected in your art and then expressing it and sharing it, especially like in a community class, that's naturally you just share it, which is really amazing. And so you're allowing yourself to be fully seen in your vulnerability. That is going to allow the sacral energy flow to come back in and to really allow space and time for that practice. A lot of us are also feeling like there may be some feelings of lack to being able to prioritize this creative practice. And this is your sign, urge, gentle nudge that this is completely supported and the universe will support you in prioritizing this creative project. Even if you don't necessarily see the results right away, it's really important that you start this month. And the last message pertaining to a lot of this Virgo energy that we're having. Virgo, if I were to depict one tarot card that exemplifies Virgo energy, it's the Empress, because the Empress is the goddess who understands that her feminine power comes from within. The more that she tends to herself, her physical body, her not just her appearance, but her time and her energy, and she makes her inner world super beautiful and authentic, she naturally attracts her outer world to her. This means opportunities, the right people, relationships just come to her in her world because her frequency is so high. I see a lot of you focusing on your frequency and prioritizing this. Again, a lot of us, this is going to be a shift in energy than we're accustomed to. We are programmed to believe that the more that you do, the physical output, that you're going to get a certain results. And that is very much the old paradigm and the system. And if you continue using that system, you're going to get a dead end. You're going to get burnout. It's no longer going to work for you anymore. And some of you have already learned that lesson. multiple times. So you're very aware of this. This is not the first time that you're hearing this, but this is your validation that your power is going to be coming from within the more that you work on yourself. Work on your physical body and then tending to your creative pursuits is what's going to magnetize your next level opportunities. It's a different way to work with the energy, but those of you who are called to really find success in your creative outlets, wanting to bring more ease and flow into your life, this is the new way. And it's going to take time. So be with yourself when you have to release the guilt, when you have to release the doubt, and all the natural human things are going to come up during that process. Okay, another message that came through is to nurture your seeds of desires. They have a heartbeat. They're a living, breathing thing. So for this image, like I really saw a lot of you have these like little ideas and these little desires, but they're underneath the surface. They're in the ground as like a little seed. But because other people can't see them, they may seem silly, they may seem why bother tending to these things? But when you really see that these seeds of desires, even if they're underground, they have this pulsing, they have this life to them. And it's so important to water them every day, to nurture them, even though you can't see what it's going to bloom into. It's so important to start this now. So, Neptune and Aries, Neptune is the planet of our dreams and our visions. A lot of us have been getting confirmations and validations of what those dreams and visions are, and they may seem wild to you. For example, I had this dream and vision that I have not thought about or strongly considered until since my like teenage years. But it has become such a strong passion and desire that's come back up in me that I know I have to follow it. I know the more that it knocks on my door, it's just going to get louder and louder, and life's going to get more difficult until I answer the call. So if you are feeling like this and something in your life, there's this desire and passion that's been restoked in you, and you're just like, this makes no sense. This is your sign to really take time to tend to that because there is a life pulsing through that desire and it's meant to come into fruition, even if you have no idea how it's supposed to. That's part of this whole process of trusting your desires and allowing this unseen force to guide you. Okay, and then there was a lot of messages regarding Saturn recently Saturn has been in retrograde and will continue in retrograde until next year. And he just went retrograde into Pisces at the beginning of September. And we often feel Saturn's shifts because he's one of the biggest planets in our solar system. And so we feel his shifts a lot. And Saturn retrograde is a lot of cleanup work. Saturn represents discipline. He's divine masculine energy. So it's consistency, it's hard work and effort over time, and it's slow moving. He brings in also delays and obstacles. So if you've been feeling that kind of like stuck, heavy type of energy, Saturn is highlighting this area of your life and telling you to take a magnifying glass to look at it and say, I just want you to slow down in this area to really take a look at it and to try things in a different way and to create a new structure. Now, with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, I love this placement because it's a balance in this strong masculine energy that Saturn has. It's in this very feminine energy of Pisces, which is about flow, intuition, your emotions, your dreams, and your visions. So the structures that Saturn is wanting you to come into actually come from a very intuitive place. They need to come from your intuition. They have to come from what you feel really called and pulled to do. You can't just take someone else's system anymore. So let's take something super basic like you want to start a new diet or lifestyle practice. I know there's like a TikTok trend right now of like the great lock-in. So from September 1st all the way to the end of December, you're really going to commit to your lifestyle practices and go hard. And so people are doing like, I forgot, it's like the hard 75 or something like that. Now, I think we're feeling this surge of motivation and passion to really hone in on our lifestyle practices because of all this Virgo energy, which represents our lifestyle practices, routines, and diet. And then Saturn is like, let's get consistent. Let's really nail in and let's get disciplined on it. However, that Pisces energy is saying you have to follow your intuition. You can't follow someone else's way anymore. You're going to burn out because it's not coming from your own inner truth and own inner light. So, unfortunately, the only way to tap into your intuition, silence, slowness, self-reflection, the things that take time that aren't comfortable, that we don't like looking at. However, we've been gifted with September of eclipse season. This is what this moment is for, is to go inward so you can receive clarity on what this new structure is for you. For some of us, so Saturn's been in Pisces for the past 2 years. You will know this energy. You've worked with it before. It's highlighting what you've already worked on for these past couple of years. But now with this last round of retrograde of Saturn being in Pisces, he's saying anything else that you missed, you now have one last opportunity to clean up. So, one of the channel messages that came through for this is consistency to the mundane commitments brings miracles. A lot of us sometimes feel in this physical world, it's really heavy, it's a lot of suffering, it's a lot of sometimes boring and mundane work. And there's something to this of even if you can't see it come into your external life right away, that there is a trust that it does exist and it will come. And your belief and that grander vision and your belief in your dream is what's going to make this life so much more fulfilling for you. So even if it seems boring to commit to the consistent lifestyle practices and things, and it's, not glamorous to commit to a diet, if it's coming from your intuition and you know it makes you feel good, even though it's boring, that is going to draw in these miracles into your life. As boring as it can be to be consistent in your life to the things that you uphold yourself to, of course, allowing flexibility and not being so rigid, it's going to allow that magic to come into the world. So I really love that message. Consistency to the mundane commitments brings miracles. Another message around the Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Pisces represents our subconscious belief patterns, and I really see a lot of reprogramming going around right now. So a lot of us are really privy when we've been into this whole spiritual world that our subconscious belief patterns really rule our actions and behaviors and our outer reality. And if we are just caught in the reality of how society wants us to live and move throughout the world, the matrix, if you will, then you are going to be caught in just trying to keep up with social media and what people are posting, and you are just gonna kind of be doggy paddling your way through life. Rather, there is another way to go about it. If you can self-reflect and you can really see, oh, whose beliefs are these that I'm withholding? Is that society's? Is that my ancestors? Is that friend? Or get close to your heart, get close to what your highest self says. What is that true intention of the world that you want to create? And how can you reprogram yourself to do that? So, a lot of us will be committing to different forms of meditation, different healing modalities that are going to help to really reframe and reshape our subconscious mind. There's like a recalibration that's happening where you're just beginning to think in a lot of new ways, and you are restructuring your neurons to have new belief systems that are going to create new behaviors and actions. This is in so alignment with all the new lifestyle habits and practices that we are going into right now. Those are only going to be upheld if your belief systems support them. So a lot of this month is going to be reshaping your beliefs to support those new behaviors and actions that you set up for yourself. So I would write down some affirmations that support these new lifestyle practices that you want to invite into your life and create some type of meditation practice to constantly come back to support your mental body and supporting your physical body this month and changing. And the last message that I received, it goes along with this Saturn retrograde in Pisces energy of, yes, you need to create a structure, but only when that intention comes from love. This pushing and forcing through type of energy, like I said, if you heard about the hard 75 trend that's going on TikTok right now of the great lock-in, if you try to force something to happen because you want a physical outcome faster, you're going to burn out. You're going to hit a dead end. That is no longer the way. The only way is if this intention comes from total love. And so sometimes this can feel really tricky. Let's just because we're talking on diet and lifestyle practice, let's say you created a diet for yourself, and for when you come to have that certain meal, even though it's what you said you were going to have on that day and you like wrote down a schedule, but your body is asking for something else, but instead you push and you force your body to eat something that it does not want, eventually you will feel that imbalance come up in a different way in the body. Like we can't just ignore those inner desires. We can't just ignore what the body truly wants. And so this comes with you really getting to listen to your body and choosing love and to act from a sense of love. Now, this is tricky, right? Because it's not like we're just saying like, "Oh, I want to have cake for breakfast." That's an act of love. Not necessarily. This is coming from a really true place of your highest self, allowing your highest self to guide you. And sometimes that's tough love. Sometimes it is adhering to the meal that you don't necessarily want in that moment, but you know it's going to make you feel good in the long run. And then sometimes it is more of that nurturing love of maybe you are super exhausted that day and you need more nourishment and you need something that is going to uplift your mood. And it's okay to have something that is a little bit off the menu of your diet. And again, I'm just giving this example of the diet because I think it's easy for us to understand. Okay, so I know that was a lot of inner work that's happening this month, but a lot of you are already privy to this. When I did my one-on-one readings for my subscriber channel this month, everyone was already like, "Yep, on board, cleaning my apartment, cleaning out my physical body, shaping up my diet and lifestyle practices." I know a lot of you are already privy to this plan, so I'm supporting and rooting you on throughout this month. If you want more intuitive messages, I'm going to do a card pull on my Instagram on it should be posted there already from this past Wednesday because this podcast episode is going to come out on Friday and you can watch that for more guidance. And if you want a personalized one-on-one reading, you can receive a 5-minute voice note reading every month for your whole month ahead. And this is a healing and a reading. So I was finding with the readings, like I don't want us to be so in our heads of just constantly sourcing power to find what are the intuitive messages that are going to help me. I want to actually clear energetic blockages in your body. So every month you receive a healing and a reading. I clear whatever energetic blockages are in your field, and then I also bring intuitive messages that are going to help guide you for the month ahead. And that happens as soon as you subscribe to my channel on Instagram. I'll have that linked below, and I hope to see you all very soon. I'm wishing you all a super inward growth and evolution for the month of September.